You ever look around and wonder why some people just seem to build wealth effortlessly, while so many others, no matter how much they make, are always just one paycheck away from disaster? Well, it turns out being financially fragile isn't really about your income. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden habits that make all the difference. Okay, let's just start with a number. $400. Turns out that's the amount for an emergency expense that a full one-third of Americans simply can't afford. And listen, this isn't just a low-income problem. We're talking about people across all kinds of careers and education levels. It's really a symptom of a much deeper issue, a kind of quiet financial fragility that has way less to do with your paycheck and way more to do with what's going on in your head. And that really gets to the heart of it, right? It's not about the size of the paycheck, it's about the patterns. It's all about those small, everyday decisions that are either building you up or, well, breaking you down. So let's dissect the most common ones, starting with the battles we fight inside our own minds. All right, section 1. Let's dig into the mindset traps. These are the internal barriers that can totally sabotage your finances before you even spend a single dollar. I mean, think about it like this for a second. Would you ever hop in your car for a cross-country road trip with absolutely no map and no idea where you're going? Of course not. That would be crazy. And yet, that is exactly how most people handle their money, just kind of drifting along with any clear goals. And this, right here, shows you the massive difference in thinking. See, without a destination, the only question you can really ask is, can I afford this right now? But the second you have a goal, the question completely changes. It becomes, does this purchase actually move me forward? It's a whole different way of looking at every single financial choice you make. And it doesn't stop there, right? You've got these other classic traps, like having absolutely no plan for life's inevitable surprises. You know, the car repair, the unexpected medical bill, or just trying to manage your money without a budget, which is basically like flying a plane blind. And the big one, living completely for today, just assuming that future you is going to magically have it all figured out. Okay, so we've talked about what's going on inside your head. Now let's see how that mindset translates into real-world, everyday habits that are just silently draining your bank account. All right, another number for you, $30,000. What in the world could that be? Well, believe it or not, that 30 grand is what a pack-a-day smoking habit costs you over 10 years. And what's so fascinating is how this same idea applies to other habits we think are totally harmless. You know, that daily coffee, ordering takeout a few times a week. It seems like nothing, but those little things can easily add up to hundreds and hundreds of dollars just vanishing every single month. Now, this is a huge one. You've got to understand that not all debt is bad debt. There's a critical difference, and it starts with what we call productive debt. This is when you borrow money to buy something that's actually going to make you money in the long run, either because it grows in value or it generates its own income. And then you've got the other kind, destructive debt. This is what most people are drowning in. It's borrowing money for stuff that loses value the second you buy it and gives you zero financial benefit. It's like paying interest for the privilege of getting poorer faster. And this table just lays it all out. Super simple. A mortgage on a rental property that pays you every month, that's productive. Slapping a vacation on a high-interest credit card? Oof, that's destructive. See, one builds your future and the other just finances your past. The key is to know which game you're playing every time you borrow. And you know, this is where so many people get stuck. It's this vicious cycle. You spend money you don't actually have on stuff you don't really need, a lot of times to impress people you don't even know. And the crazy irony in all of this is that the more time and money you spend trying to look rich, the less you'll have left over to ever actually become rich. It's a treadmill that's designed to go nowhere. All right, we've hit on mindset. We've hit on daily habits. The third huge piece of the puzzle is all about the system. It's the fundamental way that money flows in and out of your life. So this is probably going to look familiar to a lot of you. This is the broke flow. You get paid, then you immediately pay everyone else. The landlord, the credit card company, the grocery store. And then you hope. You hope there's something left at the end of the month to maybe save. But what's the problem? Well, life always seems to find a way to eat up all the money you have. Your future gets the scraps, if it gets anything at all. But check this out. It's such a simple switch, but it changes everything. This is the wealth flow. The moment you get paid, the very first bill you pay is to yourself. A set amount automatically goes straight to your savings and investments. It's non-negotiable. Then you just learn to live on whatever is left over. And a few other big systemic problems keep people stuck too, like being so terrified of any kind of risk that you miss out on all the opportunities for growth, or putting all your eggs in one basket by relying on just one single paycheck. And finally, just not continuing to learn. Financial education isn't a one-time thing. It's a skill you have to keep working on. Okay, wow. So that's the diagnosis. And look, it might sound a little bleak, but just knowing this stuff is half the battle. So now let's get into the good part, the prescription, the actual concrete action plan you can use to reverse all these patterns and start building your own path to financial freedom. All right, here we go. Your starting mission. First up, you have to give your money a job, a destination. Don't just say, I want to save more. No, say, I will save $15,000 in the next 18 months. Get specific. Second, you have to build a buffer. That's your emergency fund. Even if you start with just $50, you start. This is what stops one bad day from turning into a debt spiral. And third, for just 1 month, you're going to become a financial detective. Track every single dollar. You've got to find the leaks before you can plug them. Okay, next, we go on the attack. You get absolutely ruthless with high-interest debt. That's your number one enemy. Then, you rid the game so you're guaranteed to win. You automate your wealth. That pay yourself first thing we talked about, make it automatic. So it's not a choice you have to make every month, it's just what happens. And finally, invest in the single greatest asset you have, your own brain. Commit to learning more about money. The more you know, the more you'll grow. And if you remember one thing from all of this, let it be this right here. Seriously, it doesn't matter where you are right now. It doesn't matter what mistakes you've made in the past. Your financial future is a blank page, and it's going to be written by the decisions you start making literally today. So, at the end of the day, the question isn't, does this stuff work? Because we know it does. The question is, for you, what are you going to do? It could be something small, like setting up that first $50 automatic transfer, or defining just one clear goal. So what's it going to be? What's the very first wealth-building decision you're going to make?